Hello and welcome to the official Hayters Euro 2024 Daily Show. I'm your host, Aaron Goldstein, and today I'm joined by Freddie Walker, and for the first time this season, Joel Means. A reminder that we are live every day of the tournament at 1 o'clock, bringing exclusive training clips, interviews, and reports from our team live on the ground in Germany. Let's go straight into it. Yesterday's early kickoff, we saw Ukraine actually turn up and beat Matchday 1 surprise package Slovakia. Joel, what did you make of Ukraine yesterday?
I think Ukraine played well. They gave a very good account of themselves. I think in the first game, you kind of felt like they were not going to call it overruled. I think Lunin made a few sort of unfortunate mistakes. So you kind of felt it was going to be more the same when Slovakia got the early goal. But Ukraine found their feet. I think their first goal was brilliant. Shaparenko's finish was absolutely thumped it in. And I think Zinchenko's passing was really, really good. They grew into the game from there, got a foothold. And Miranchuk's touch and finish was exquisite. Like, questionable goalkeeper from Dubravka, but take nothing away from Miranchuk. And I think it was a deserved win and really, really morale boosting win for Ukraine.
It's so hard as a goalkeeper when the player brings it down and you're not expecting it. I don't think you can really blame the goalkeeper. It's a good close finish as well. Anyway, you did mention one man there, Alexander Zinchenko. So good to see him back to his best yesterday. He was the SofaScore man of the match, Freddie. If we can get his stats on the screen.
He was. He had a great performance for Ukraine. He was the key man on the pitch. Minutes played, 90. He got that vital assist to bring it back to 1-1. Big chances created, that one goal. Clearances 4, tackles 4, duels 1, 10 out of 11. And as you mentioned, the SofaScore rating 8.2. So he was the man of the match. I mean, it was a defensively strong performance and an offensively strong performance from Zinchenko. So he gets a lot of stick from Arsenal fans sometimes about his defensive performances. But yesterday, he really was on point. So, yeah, very impressed with him.
Let's stick on that for a second. Zinchenko at Arsenal. I know this is the Euros show, but everyone wants to talk about Arsenal. Zinchenko, in his first season, seemingly loved and adored by everyone. Kind of got a little bit more criticism last season. Joe, why do you think that is?
I think it's the change in the system where Arteta's sort of been played. I think in the first season where Zenchenko came, I think we were a lot more risk-taking as a team to literally have us going forward. Well, not us. Again, Arsenal fan, try not to introduce bias into this, but Zinchenko allowed a lot of freedom to get into the middle of the park, and I felt like it made Arsenal a bit less compact defensively. Whereas this season, we've seen Ewan Timber threaten to come in. We've seen Tomiyasu on that left-hand side, Kivio, and it's given us a lot of solidity at the back. And solidity isn't always Zinchenko's main attribute, and I feel like defensively he has been left a bit wanting, and he hasn't been allowed that freedom to enter into the middle of the park. So it means his performances haven't always been as effective as they were last season. Still think he's got a lot to offer as a player. I just feel like in this current Arsenal system, he might have to reinvent his game a bit more to stand a chance of sort of staying in that squad from this season onwards.
Freddie, where do you think Zinchenko will play next season, club-wise?
I think he'll stay at Arsenal. I know that Mikel Arteta loves him. And to me, Arsenal fans give him quite a lot of unfair stick because he transformed that Arsenal team and the way that they play. When he came in that first game, not last season, but the season before against Crystal Palace away, and you saw him playing that inverted role, it was special. You'd never seen it before in an Arsenal team. And I think he deserves a lot of credit for the way that Arsenal have been able to transform their game and compete with the likes of City and Liverpool. So yeah, I think he deserves a bit more respect.
A quick reminder to anybody watching at home, we got those Zinchenko stats from SofaScore. It is the best app around for all football stats. Sports stats as a whole, by the way. It's a very, very good app. Highly recommend. 25 million users. If you're not one of them, you're a schmuck. We did hear from the 4-time Premier League winner, Zinchenko, at full time.
One of the best team in Europe and the world as well. They have a lot of quality players, world-class players, like you mentioned already. Of course, we expect a super tough game, but the most important thing is that we need to rest ourselves at the moment. We need to prepare ourselves in the best way we could, and also, if you want to beat this kind of teams, if you want to go through this situation and qualify from this group stage, you need to show your best performance in your life. It's simple as that.
Are you going to ask Kevin to play slow?
I don't think he will listen to me.
How would that conversation even go? Please, Kevin, please don't play well against us. It's just, what a silly question. The big news yesterday was Ukraine dropped Real Madrid goalkeeper Andriy Lunin. and replaced him with Benfica's Anatoly Trubin. Lots of ins there. The thing with Lunin is he was playing really well for Real Madrid, wasn't he? Then he got dropped in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Were you
Final,
were you surprised to see a new goalkeeper in, or was his performance match day one didn't let him warrant start?
There were question marks about his fitness going into the tournament because I believe he lost his place for the final because Qatar was meant to come back at that time, but Lunin had fallen ill in the lead up towards that final. So it sort of did raise question marks whether he'd be fit enough to play anyway. So maybe he's carried a bit of that sort of unwellness into this tournament. And I think we've maybe seen that in his first outing for Ukraine. Trubin has done enough to keep the shirt, in my opinion. I think he was, fantastic. He did the basics well, kept Ukraine in the game at crucial intervals. And they've built on that. And I think maybe it's Trubin's shirt to lose, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it was great to see a strong Ukraine performance. We heard from the man himself at full time about how Ukraine are fighting on the pitch as well as, unfortunately, off it.
As a team and as a country.
Sure, it was important 3 points for us because after first bad game, we understand that we need 3 points to continue this tournament. For sure, but I think we don't need to say a lot of words, we need to show it on the pitch. So our win today is the best way to say for our people, our soldiers, that we fight for you.
Massive respect to the Ukrainian national team playing when their country's at war, and obviously massive respect to all of the Ukrainian soldiers as well. On to something else. At 5 o'clock, the Battle of the Red and White Flags, as I called it, commenced, and Austria were victorious with a resounding 3-1 victory over Poland. Joel, what has gone wrong for Poland?
I think 2 reasons. First of all, I think they've conceded a lot of goals this tournament. It goes without saying. I think they have found themselves in good position in games. Like they went ahead against Netherlands and they pulled goal back and they went into halftime level against Austria. But I think ultimately defenses have been their downfall and they've conceded 5 goals. I don't think, again, it had them in good stead for going forward in this tournament. And the second factor, a massive one, obviously, is Robert Lewandowski not being fit. To the fact that he's on the bench and in this tournament but not playing, I think they've lacked that potency up front. And I think they've worked to the limits of their attacking capabilities. I just feel like that, especially in tight games against Netherlands and Austria, both not easy games, they didn't have the haymaker or like the deciding factor of Lewandowski to turn the tide in their favour. And I think it's cost them, unfortunately, qualification from this group.
Yeah, and Freddie, I mean, we can talk about how bad Poland have been, but Austria were immense, no?
Oh, they were immense. And we spoke yesterday about the Austrian midfield and how that could be key to the game. We've got some stats given to us by SofaScore. And you can see the ratings for the Austrian midfielder. Baumgartner and Sabitzer there. And then obviously Arnautovic also there and what games they had. For me, that was my prediction yesterday, that the Austrian midfield was the strongest part of their team and they would win that midfield battle. And I think that showed yesterday and was key to the performance. And Baumgartner made up for missing that chance against France, didn't he, with a beautiful goal.
Chesney as well. He made a really good save. It was a shame to see him give away a penalty, though. Yeah. Poland, are they out now?
Yeah, they're confirmed to be out because of the head-to-head against Netherlands and Austria. They're on 0 points. And they've lost to Netherlands and Austria, so there's no way they can get 3 points and overtake Netherlands and Austria, who have both won in this tournament already. So, that's curtains for Poland already.
Do you think that will be on their minds match day 3, or is it just playing for your country, playing for pride, or will they be dead and buried?
I think they'll put up a fight, but the problem is how much of a fight can you put up against France, who they know that they haven't performed well in this tournament so far. France haven't hit their heights, but I don't see France giving Poland any charity whatsoever. I think they'll field out a strong enough lineup to stand a chance of trying to win this group and get an easier draw in the next round.
Yesterday's final match saw France take on the Netherlands. Rodrigo Lara was out in Leipzig having a great time, as per usual, with the Dutch fans. Da, 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 da. I wish I was there.
It's so much fun, Netherlands. They know how to party in the tournament, honestly.
It was the first goalless draw of Euro 2024. That rhymed. I'm so good at this. Is that a different game with Kylian Mbappe in the lineup, Joel?
It's a good question, but I think France created enough and they have such a talented squad without Mbappe that I still think they should have felt like they would have won that game without Mbappe. Rabiot in particular had two really good opportunities, especially in the first half when Thuram put him through. I don't know why he didn't shoot. Like I was watching it in my family, we were all screaming at the TV, shoot. Passed it to Griezmann, and the pass was off, and it meant that France obviously just didn't take their chances, but they created enough to win that game. I think it was quite an evenly balanced game, but it's nice to know that they can sort of pose a threat without Mbappe. It gives them confidence going into the next game that if Mbappe is not fit for that game, he can still do well, but maybe he would have been the difference in the last 20 minutes. You never know, but it's hard to say. It's hard to conclusively say. I still think they played well without him.
What do you reckon, Freddie?
Yeah, I'd have to say that if Mbappe's on that pitch, it would have been a different story for France. They did miss the chances, and I think if Mbappe's there, he probably puts one away. We know that he's a clinical finisher, and obviously that pace just is a ridiculous threat, and I think it would have been hard for Netherlands to deal with it. It just adds another element to their team that is just so hard to defend against.
I mean, there wasn't exactly a lack of chances in the game. There was one that hit the back of the net. And obviously, it's the English VAR that are on it. Because Denzel Dumfries was interfering with play. What did you make of that?
I think by the letter of the law, it would be offside because Dumfries might be judged to be interfering with play because Magnan wants to take that step and dive to his left, but Dumfries is obstructing his path. Whether Magnan would have gotten to the ball because of how well Simon struck it and the trajectory of the ball going to the bottom left corner is another thing entirely. But I do feel like by the letter of the law, Dumfries obstructing Magnan's path does mean that it's offside, even though it does feel a bit mean-spirited.
See, I massively struggle with that being disallowed. I think Shearer did a very good piece of analysis on it, where you look at the French goalkeeper and he's almost planted his foot already, so he wasn't even able to dive. He was planted, but I get the argument that by the letter of the law, it's offside. But I really struggle to see that one ruled out. You want to see goals in football, and when they're being ruled out for things like that, I'm not a huge fan of it.
After the game, we heard from Kingsley Coman, who discussed the match, the VAR decision, and how it is to play with Harry Kane.
I prefer to win the game, but we didn't score chances, so it happened, and we will take the 0-0.
Can you understand that the goal was not given by Xavi?
Yes, I've seen the player stand in front. The goalkeeper cannot stop the ball, so that's normal.
Just for the press in England, how is it working and the experience working with Harry Kane in your club?
Really good. He's a really good player.
What can you tell us his attributes?
Yeah, he's a good goal scorer and he has amazing passing.
What do you think of Poland national team?
Yeah, it's a good national team. We play already against them a couple times. It's never an easy game, and you'll have to give everything to win the game.
The nose of Kylian? How is it?
He's getting better.
The nose of Kylian, was that the last question? But yes, Kingsley, Harry Kane is a good goal scorer, and we're so sorry that his little curse has stopped you winning yet another league title. The man that was involved in that VAR decision was Denzel Dumfries. We heard from him at full time as well.
Of course, we knew before that we have very good opponents in the group. So it's not a surprise that we are close to each other, and the next match is very important.
Were you surprised not to see Mbappe come on, or the talk have been about him?
We were not really busy with if he's coming in or not. We were busy with our own performance, I can imagine that it was too short on the match that he couldn't play.
What do you make of the Austria side that you're going to face? They won tonight. Austria won 3-1 tonight. How do you make them as a team?
It's a very good team, very aggressive without the ball. They put a lot of energy in the game. So we have to be full prepared for that match.
What did you make of your own chances tonight? You were very good in the transition and you were quick on the break.
Yes.
Is that something you'd planned?
We planned this because we knew that we would drop, that we stay compact, and that we would have space in the counter attack. So we were focused on the space behind their defense when we when we get the ball.
Were you surprised at the amount of chances that you got in the end in the attacking third?
No, we were not surprised because we know our quality. We know that we have a lot of speed in front and that we can play very good between the lines. So we were not surprised.
And if you go on.
Can you talk to us a little bit about Virgil van Dijk? How important is for you in the team having his leadership?
Yeah, very important. He's the captain. He's the leader of the team, and we are very happy that he's in our team. That he take the lead, and a very important player for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good interview, that. Good content. Speaking of things that are good, SofaScore, download it, do it. If you don't, then I will judge you. Are there any comments coming in?
Yes, we've had one from Cameron saying France should consider themselves extremely lucky. He's also said the disallowed goal was disgraceful. Don't think France showed enough to win. So he's not very happy with the English VAR and referees that ruled that one out.
I will touch on that very, very quickly. But Dumfries also just mentioned Virgil van Dijk. I silently think the Netherlands have a good chance here. It's largely down to him. Is he still the best centre-back in the world, in your opinion, Joel?
I think based on the last season, I think Rudiger's probably the best defender in the world, in my opinion. I think one-on-one, I think he's impeccable. I don't see many attackers get the best of him. I put Van Dijk just below him. And I think Saliba's the heir to the throne. I think even yesterday, there was one little moment where I think Simons, I think it might have been Simons tried to sort of go around him, but Saliba handled it masterfully. And I feel like Saliba is getting to that point where he can match Van Dijk's level. I think he said that that's one of his own ambitions to match Van Dijk's level.
I completely agree. I think Saliba's on the up, but I think he needs to get some trophies behind him, like a Premier League, like an international trophy, because this is really obviously the first tournament he's playing for France and starting. So yeah, he's still got a bit of a way to go, but yeah, he's obviously a top player. And Virgil van Dijk, one of my favourite centre-backs of all time. He's a legend.
On the topic of Virgil van Dijk, and that of course leads you on to Liverpool. Another Liverpool Dutchman, Cody Gakpo. We heard from him.
How your reaction after your new manager was unveiled the other day with Liverpool?
Yeah, very pleased for him and for the club that we have that he was introduced. I think everybody was already aware that he would be the new head coach. So yeah, excited for us, for the club, for the fans to start with him the new season.
What kind of tributes is he going to bring for the club?
I don't know him, so I don't know, but I hope a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, people forget. They keep being asked these questions about Arne Slot. Gakpo's never played for him. He has played 3 times against him. And in those 3 games, he's got 3 goals, 3 assists. Cody Gakpo is a good player. We didn't quite see it last season at Liverpool. Will we see it next season, in your opinion? And have we seen the best of him so far at Euro 2024?
I think Gakpo's looked really bright Euro 2024. I think for the Netherlands, when I watch him play for the Netherlands, it looks like he has a new lease of life when he plays for that team. I feel like he knows that he's going to get game time. The team relies on him, and I think that he rises to that. And maybe having Arne Slot, who knows his abilities, and like you just described, knows what he can do against his teams, to have him in his weaponry and sort of have that next season will be quite interesting to see if Slot can unlock a new level from Gakpo. And I think there's every chance he could.
Boys, big question here. Where are Liverpool finishing next season? Freddie first.
I'm gonna back Liverpool. I really like their team. Obviously, it somewhat depends on the transfer window, if Mo Salah stays or he goes, there's big talking points there. But I'm going to say they finish in the top 4 at least next season.
I'm going to be safe and agree with Freddie and say top 4. I don't see any radical change in Liverpool. I think they've got a solid base. Slot will build in his first season. Second season, that's when we'll see his mentality and his philosophy fully take shape.
We've spoken about Netherlands. I'm going to do what I do best and annoy you. There's been no real uproar about France. They've scored 1 goal in 2 games and have 4 points in total. Now, there's another team that has the same points tally, but has scored 2 goals in 2 games. And everybody's calling for the manager's head. What's the difference? What's the difference in England and France?
Gareth Southgate. I'm fed up of hearing the propaganda of Southgate from Aaron. It is a joke. I mean, Deschamps is a legendary manager. He's obviously won a World Cup. He's proven it with France. Southgate has proven nothing so far with England.
Scathing. I think Southgate is England's most successful manager aside for Seth Alf Ramsey. European Championship final, World Cup semi-final. But I'm not excusing the performances. No, don't get me wrong. Like, he has to be held to account for Thursday because I don't think that was good enough with the quality of players he has at his disposal. I think the way the team was set up wasn't as great as it should have been, in the sense of from the midfield, Trent Alexander-Arnold is not built to receive the ball off the back line and be able to progress the ball forward. And I think the spacing between the defense and the midfield and the attack to the playing and progressing the ball from back to front wasn't good enough. It isn't structured enough in the same way that if you watch France yesterday and how they built through Tchouaméni, how they built through Kante from front to back, and how they distributed the ball from out wide, it looked really fluid, even if it didn't lead to a lot of end product. And I feel like England need to get their ideas in order to get a functioning midfield that can progress the ball from back to front. And I think France have that, which is why I think when they go through the gears in the knockout phases, there'll be a dangerous proposition for whoever encounters them.
So I can appreciate all of that, but can people not see the similarities here? The last Euros, England won the first game 1-0, drew the second game 0-0, worse than 1-1. It was a terrible performance against Scotland at Euro 2020. Won the final group game, again, very boring fashion, 1-0. But guess what? They kept winning. They went through. They got all the way to the final. Surely, if England do the same thing again, just as France are doing, getting results, but maybe not as glamorously as you'd expect, we just have to keep quiet. What is it? Why do English fans have this massive agenda against Gareth Southgate?
I don't think it is an agenda. It's the fact that they're paying money to go to games, and England fans have a lot of hope with this national team and the players that are there, and they're just not really seeing what they like. These players that are world class for their club teams come into the England team and suddenly look very, very average. And that's got to be something to do with the manager. The in-game tactics are poor. And I think France and Deschamps has proven that he can manage a game and get themselves to a win at the end of a tournament, which Southgate is yet to prove.
With SofaScore, we have the Group D standings on the screen now. It's looking like this. It is so close. Joel, talk me through the group.
I think France will look to want to win that game against Poland and just give themselves the best chance of qualifying. Netherlands will be happy that they've got out of that game on top of the group, but to have to face Austria to get to the knockout phase will be a difficult test. And I feel like once they win, if they win that, Netherlands, I don't see why they couldn't then go to the quarterfinals and have the confidence of finishing top in the group against France and going on from there. Austria, they'd hope and pray that if third place would be enough, maybe they might be able to spring a surprise against Netherlands. But again, it's tasty. I think that's the main thing we wanted from that group. It does look tasty.
It's tasty, like a croissant.
There's also something to be mentioned with that group from the England side, that Netherlands are currently sitting top. If they win their next game by a few goals and get better goal difference than France, then it actually looks very nice for England, because they will then go down the Netherlands. Netherlands will go down England's side. France will go down the side, assuming that Germany win their group, Spain win their group, Portugal win their group. France will be on that side. So you'll have four big hitters on one side and then Netherlands and England on the other, assuming they win all their games and whatnot in the knockouts. But I'm saying that England could get a very an easier route to the final than some may have expected.
Is it coming home?
That's what I'm hearing.
That's what I'm hearing, yeah.
Potentially.
Seen his face light up.
On to today. Georgia get us underway against the Czech Republic. I was so impressed with Georgia on the opening day. I felt so bad for them that they couldn't walk away with even a point. They were good, weren't they?
They were good. They were unlucky maybe not to get the point against Turkey. But Turkey finished them off in the end. They had everyone's talking about Kvaratskhelia. Sorry,
lovely pronunciation.
I struggle with that. But this man that I've just put on screen, the graphic, Mika Al-Tadze. Two tough names there. My apologies for mispronunciation. But he also had a great game. He obviously scored the goal. And this is his stats for Georgia. He's played 26 games, 11 goals, shots per game 2.09, scoring frequency every 138 minutes. And he also had a very good season for FC Metz in France, who got relegated. So he scored 13 goals, 4 assists in 20 appearances for them. So that's a pretty good return when you're playing in a struggling team that ended up getting relegated. So this is also a man to look out for in the Georgia game this afternoon.
Let's have your score predictions for today.
Oh, I'm going to go for Turkey.
Czech Republic, Georgia.
Czech Republic, Georgia. I'm going to go for 2-1 to the Czech Republic.
Oh, I'm going to go 1-1. I think Georgia set the bar really high in the opening Euros game, and I feel like they're gonna give Czech Republic a threat, but I feel like it will be 1-1. Something
completely fair enough. Yeah. They were impressive. At 5 o'clock, Cristiano Ronaldo and Portugal face a stern Turkey team. Surely Portugal just get the win today.
I disagree. I think Turkey have shown that they have a lot of talent in their ranks. I'm still rewatching that strike, that opening strike they scored, and I think Moda, the right back, oh my gosh, he had his girlfriend in tears. I don't know if you've seen it in the stands, trying to just sort of like seeing how great that strike was. It brought me to tears, really seeing it. And Arda Güler, I tipped him to be my young player to watch in this tournament, and he was absolutely fantastic as well. So Turkey have a lot to problems to pose Portugal, and I think Portugal are going to have to raise their game to really see themselves over the line in this one.
Well, we heard from the Portugal manager, Roberto Martinez, who singled out Arda Güler as the one to watch from Turkey.
Arda Güler has got a sensational talent. He's got a wonderful left foot. I think he fits really well in this team. That mixture that Montella has created, it becomes very, very efficient. I always enjoy a team that allows young players to be important, and I think we've seen that with Turkey. Yildiz is another example. I think is a mixture that is wonderful to watch. But
Arda Güler, potentially a future Real Madrid legend, but there is one former Real Madrid legend that's playing today. Roberto Martinez was asked about Cristiano Ronaldo.
Millions as the greatest of all time, and of course he adds the element of experience to the team. But at his age right now, do you think using Cristiano Ronaldo as a starter for a 90-minute during the whole tournament is very effective, or there is another way in your mind to use him in the coming games?
can I ask you something? Do you know how many minutes Cristiano played last season?
He almost played every game with Al Nassr.
Then you're answering your question.
That is a proper mic drop moment from Roberto Martinez. He handled that question so well.
Yeah.
What do you boys think? Ronaldo, is he still the main man at 39?
I believe he is. I think Cristiano is obviously an incredible player with what a legacy in the game. And Portugal should play around him. Obviously, he had a good season with Al Nassr, even though you don't necessarily know how high of a level that football is compared to the European football. He's obviously going to be a key player and was when they won the Euros in 2016. So I think maybe as the tournament goes, maybe if he's not having the impact, then you can change it. But you've got to stick with him right now.
What do you think, Joel?
I think, personally, I think he'd be better off the bench. I don't think that he's completely ineffective for this Portugal side. I think he has a part to play. But I think it'd be much easier if he knows that his key attributes are his sharpness in the box and his movement. And I think against high defenses in this Euro, that would be a massive asset, more so than him starting in this game and then flagging as the games go on. And I feel like it's not maybe helping this team to sort of be starting games. So I'm not Roberto Martinez. He's obviously a lot more qualified coach than I am. But if I were him, I would put Ronaldo off the bench and look to him to be the impact sub.
Ronaldo should sue you for slander. I'm not happy with that. The standout last time around for Portugal wasn't Ronaldo, and it wasn't also a player that had Premier League sides quaking in their boots when he lined up for Wolves. Vitinha, he was the man of the match, not just by UEFA, but by SofaScore. We have his stats all here. He was brilliant. 89 minutes, 3 shots, 2 of those on target, 2 key passes, 7 crosses into the box, 6 long balls, 4 of those accurate, 6 out of 7 ground duels won, and a rating of 8. He's fantastic. What do you think, Joel?
I think, honestly, if he were English, he'd be what we need in that midfield alongside Declan Rice. I think he's superb on the ball. His performances have always caught my eye in the Champions League for PSG this season. And I feel like when I see him play, I just see someone that's really assured on the ball. And I think he makes Portugal tick. And I feel like he gets into most midfields in the whole of the world, really. So he's definitely a massive, massive player for Portugal and one that I look with slightly enviously.
Vitinha playing for England. I mean, we had Jay Rodriguez, Joe Gomez. We've had those kinds of names before. What's your predictions today for Portugal?
Well, Portugal and Turkey have played 3 times at the Euros, and Turkey have lost all 3 and not even scored against them. So, looking at the history, I'm going to back Portugal 3-0.
It is the history of the Turkey.
I'm going for 2-2. Something's telling me it's going to be a score draw. Turkey are going to pose Portugal problems, but I think Portugal's attacking riches will get them out of trouble. I think it's not a bad result for either team, but I do feel like Turkey are going to be the likeliest to win it out of the 2, in my opinion anyway.
And to conclude match day 2, this evening we get to see Belgium again. They weren't quite at the races last time out, like some of our friends have been this week. But they have quality in their side that is clear to see. The focus was all on Romelu Lukaku, who, as per usual, missed sitter after sitter. But Kevin De Bruyne was missing. What do you think?
I think the buck of the blame will fall on Lukaku because he is the man that the chances will come to at the end of the day. And I feel like he has previously stated he is one of the top strikers in the world. But every single time we try to look for Lukaku at these big moments to deliver, yes, he is Belgium's all-time top scorer, so I'm not going to completely slander him and disparage him. But I feel like if there were to be a one-on-one tomorrow with him and Manuel Neuer, I'd go in the kitchen and make myself a cup of tea knowing that Lukaku's going to miss. And it would come as a welcome surprise to see him score. I'm not saying he's not clinical. I'm just saying in certain moments and he finds a new way to find himself exasperating at missing a chance. It's quite entertaining to see the different faces of Lukaku once he misses a chance, but it's just something that I just come to expect from him. So it's unfortunate that he gets the bulk of the blame, but I get why, because the chances that he misses.
You talk about his face.
Yeah.
I always wonder why he's so shocked. I mean, you've done it before. It's like, surely you're used to this by now.
Bless.
What about Kevin De Bruyne? I think SofaScore have helped us with his stats.
They have, yeah.
Just very quickly, before you touch on this, because I was doing my Kevin De Bruyne research this morning. Did you know that Kevin De Bruyne was eligible to play for Burundi? So hypothetically, we could have seen him link up with Saido Berahino international level instead of Romelu Lukaku, who's going to finish more chances, get on the end of more Kevin De Bruyne through balls. Sorry, I'm really having a go at Lukaku there. On to you, Freddie.
Yeah, so Kevin De Bruyne, 102 matches, 27 goals, 49 assists. Minutes per game is averaging 80. Minutes per goal or assist, 106. An average rating of 7.87 and key passes per game, 3.5. He's just an essential man for Belgium and he's an essential man for Man City. One of the greatest midfielders the Premier League has ever seen. What a player, what a man. And I think with him feeding Lukaku, even Lukaku can get some goals.
I don't like that he's just shushing us on that graphic. You shush, Kevin. You're always scoring against Arsenal and I hate you for it. Is he the key man today? Belgium predictions?
Yeah, he's the key man. I think Belgium will bounce back here and they will get a 2-0 win.
I agree. Probably 2-0. And I actually back Trossard to get on the score sheet. I think clinical finisher, guy for a big moment for Arsenal. And I think he missed a few in that game against Slovakia. So I think he'll atone for that in this game against Romania.
Before we round up, 2 quick things. Number 1, download SofaScore. It's available on the QR code at the top left of the screen. And over to you, Freddie. Are there any comments coming through?
There are some comments coming through. So we've had one from DT saying the goalkeeper had nowhere to dive, impediment. So he's on the other side of the previous comment of Cameron. Yeah, so this is regarding the offside goal. George has said that Trossard will be on the score sheet today. So he is agreeing with Joel.
Leo.
That Leo will be getting a goal, yeah.
Well, another thing very quickly before we do wrap up. There was the news that Michael Elise has gone to Bayern Munich or has agreed terms with Bayern Munich. Does that open the doors for anybody to leave, do you think?
Sane. I think Sane, you look at him at these Euros, he looks like a shell of himself. And I think once he heard the news that Elise is coming into the door at Arsenal, it's Freudian slip. At Bayern Munich, I think he's looking at the door thinking, all right, my agent, where are we going next? Because I don't think he has that dynamism anymore. And I don't think he has that threatening nature of dribbling as he once did before. I think Elise is the next great winger of Bayern Munich. And I think Sane knows that his days are numbered in Munich, unfortunately.
I also think there's Serge Gnabry, potentially, that's actually lower down the pecking order at Bayern. That could also be seeing the door. So while Sane is possible, he was mainly starting for Bayern last year. So there's another one there that potentially Arsenal fans used to want. Whether they still do, I don't know.
Another player that's in the news a lot at the moment is Nico Williams. Not the Welsh one, but the Spanish one. I believe he's got a release clause. Do you think we'll see him in the Premier League next season?
Yeah, I believe so. There's a lot of interest from Premier League clubs. Liverpool are interested, Chelsea are interested, Arsenal are interested. And for that price, and considering his performances at the Euros so far for Spain, I think someone will be snapping that up.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I've heard reports that his wages are quite high because Bilbao youth products, because they don't have to pay a transfer fee to acquire them, they do have the license to pay him higher wages. And don't quote me on this, I think his wages apparently are upwards of 200k. So whether that does carry on to the next team that he goes to, or whether they can come to terms to sort of lower his wages, I think that might be a sticking point. So it'll be interesting to sort of keep eyes on that. But outstanding talent, and he showed that against Italy on the game the other day on Thursday.
Youth product or not, good players deserve good wages, and he's fantastic.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, don't disagree with that.
That's all for today. Unfortunately, today is the last day with 2 p.m. kickoffs, which is a disgrace. I want them every day. We will be back again tomorrow at 1 o'clock as we preview the last round of fixtures, match day 3. Can't wait for that. We will see you